Hello, screenwriters, and welcome to Writing for Screens, the Screenwriting Step-by-Step project, episode 84. My name is Glenn Gers, and I am here to take you step-by-step through my process of writing a TV drama pilot script from rough idea through outline to rough draft, where we are now, and then rewriting it to a polished draft. And the whole point of this is just to let you watch over my shoulder, share my screen, see what it's like to write a script from beginning to end. It is my process, not the best process, not the only process, just one that I have worked out in 25 years as a professional screenwriter and movie writer in Hollywood, California. So I come to you every Monday through Friday, if I can make it, at 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And I am available here for your questions as well while we are doing this thing. But if for some reason you are not watching it live, if you are watching it, say, as a recorded video, you can still ask me a question. Just go to that address on this screen, writingforscreens.com. You click on that, you'll find contact me buttons all over the place on just about every page. Click on contact me, it opens up a window, you write me an email, I write it back, or I answer it here. That's how we do it. If for some reason that is too complicated for you and you don't want to do it that way, you can still ask a question. Even if it's not live, you just go here to the comments section of this video or any video. Ask me a question, make a comment. That's what it's for. It'll go directly to me. Hello, 99 Precinct. I am glad to see you here. It is great to be back working again on the script because we are making progress. We are nearing the end of the second act, beginning of the third act, the finale. Are there acts, three acts in a TV pilot? Nah, not really. But I tend to think of beginning, middle, and end. That's really the three acts as far as I'm concerned. And we are about to hit the point where things swing into that final section, the end of the pilot. So let's take a look here at this outline. We still have one little section left to do. Oh no, let's go down here. Boom. Okay, so we still have this section here of Shrimpton at work. Let's just make that a scene because it's a scene. Boom. Okay, so this is what we are doing now, but then having done that, we get into this section. This is a huge, complex sequence, a long dialogue sequence in which, look at all this stuff. We're going to have to get all of this stuff into a scene. That's the next section. But right now, we just got to do this little bit with Shrimpton. So let us open the text. And there we go, text. Okay. So basically this is just a little scenelet, part of a big sequence where we're intercutting all the people in the group, showing how they need this group. Oh, wait a second. System audio. Huh. Does that sound better? We did an update. I did an update of our of this Ecamm broadcasting software, and apparently it changed some of my settings without me knowing it. All right, let me know if you can't hear me. Okay. So Nurse Shrimpton, who was part of the group, has quit the group because she felt like they were getting too extreme in their eagerness to confront a serial killer. And as such, she is now going through withdrawal of not being in the group. So let's just take a look here at this. We're going to write a little scenelet here. Interior. Hospital. Nurses Station. Morning. Okay. So all we need to do, you see, we learned, we thank you. That I'm glad to know. Yeah, I knew there was something wrong, but I didn't know what. Thank you. All right. So, Shrimpton back to sit behind her desk, slightly ruffled, put out. I'm not sure which one. Tries to shake off the conversation she just had. She winces, flinches, something like that. Hello, Matthew. Welcome. We are writing a new quick little a little scene part of the big sequence where Nurse Shrimpton is going through Sleuthless life. Deep breath. Ready. Javier is always so enthusiastic. Yes, we are doing it. We are step by step in here, Javier. The way you write a prelap is, I will show you in just a minute. That's a question that I can answer. All right. Put out. Now, here's the question. I think she does this on her phone. I have to search here. Crime. Yeah. Because I forgot the name of the Dr. Sleuth. See, there it is. Dr. Sleuth. Okay. Cool. Okay, this is what we do. Dr. Sleuth. Dr. Sleuth website. Okay. Wrestling. Shuts the window. In her purse. Purse in a drawer and shuts the drawer. Locks it. Locks it. Okay, cool. So we now are seeing her behavior shows us her thinking. That is what movie writing often is. You try to show an action which reveals a feeling or a thought. I will make this cleaner and shorter, I am sure, later, but I am repeating myself. That's okay. Crossword puzzle book. She opens it, sits back at her desk, gets a pen, and tries to focus on the clues. Ha 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 ha. There we go. Okay, now to answer Matthew's question, since he asked it, how do you write a prelap? A prelap is a sound which overlaps from the scene to come. It's a pre-overlap. So what's happening is the sound from the next scene is heard at the end of the scene that you're leaving. So it sort of covers the cut, and psychologically it gets you into the scene. So I'm going to show you how to write a prelap. This is one way. There are many ways. One way you can do it is to write prelap. The sound of a buzzsaw cutting through plywood. Okay, so you're prelapping that. Doom. I say, don't do this because I think that's annoying. I think that is throwing you out of the story. Here's the thing. When you read, when you are reading a script and you are reading this stuff, okay, you are reading the things she's doing. You are reading, by the way, just to tell you, I can already see there's something wrong here because it's every sentence is she does this, she does that, she does that. It's too many. I will be getting rid of some of that because it's poor quality writing. But, sorry, interrupted. Okay, so, prelap. I believe you don't need to say prelap because that's like saying sound editing. It's like saying we're not in the reality of the story. And I believe the best thing a screenwriter can do is get the reader to where they are kind of believing that this thing they are reading about is really happening. You are not describing a movie, you are describing a thing that happens, and they'll make a movie out of that. That is a very, very important thing. That is so important, I'm going to make you look at my face. You are not writing a script that describes how they make the movie. I mean, you are, but what you are really trying to do is describe the reality that they will be trying to capture when they make the movie. The reality of the story, the reality of the characters, their feelings, their needs. The more that you can make the reader forget it's a movie and get involved with the characters, that's what the movie's going to try and do. So you need to try and do that as a writer. So, therefore, I say you cut this prelap thing, which is just like saying, hey, you're in a movie. And instead you say, we hear. See, we hear it. We hear it because that's just the thing to do. And then you say, we hear the sound of us. And then you do dot, dot, dot just to make it a leading. And then you cut to interior lumber yard. Okay? So, okay. So this is the deal. Now you do that. However, I have to tell you, unless it is important, unless it is part of some important thing that you're doing, yes, avoid describing it altogether. You can do it sometimes if it really feels important, but honestly, you're wasting a lot of time micromanaging. You don't want to be micromanaging the people who are making the movie. Sometimes you do. You don't. It's a matter of taste and style, but do not over direct the movie in your script. Boom. So I say, just don't do it, unless it could be that the prelap is okay. This is the other way you could do it, Norman Vio. And they all died. You do that, and you put it in italics so you recognize it as something weird, and then this would be a conversation. Once again, if for some reason you need to have that happen, if it really relates, you can do that. But ordinarily, I would say avoid prelapse, avoid fade out, avoid dissolve, avoid camera moves, zoom in. Don't tell that stuff. All you're doing is telling the reader, this is not real. This is a movie. There's people standing between you and the story, and that is bad. So, in my opinion. And then, prelap lesson. Could you kindly teach us about the issue with too many she? Yes, absolutely. Here's the deal. Okay, this is a scene in which one character is taking a bunch of actions, right? So, the danger is that you will write the same structure of sentence over and over. Nurse Shrimpton comes to sit behind her desk, slightly put out, tries to shake off the conversation. See, that is good because I don't bother to say she tries to do that because it's clear this sentence is followed by that sentence. It's all one piece. And so therefore, tries to shake off the conversation is just a part of describing her moment, but you don't say she tries to shake off the conversation. She takes a deep breath. She opens this. She shuts the window. It's just having the same word start all of your paragraphs. That's simply a little annoying. It makes you numb as a reader. It makes you feel like you're not, it's just poor writing. It is generally poor writing to have the same structure of sentence over and over. Just like if you were making the movie and you were doing shots, you wouldn't do wide shot, wide shot, wide shot, wide shot. You would try to come in closer now and then. You would try to alter it so as to keep a dynamic, to keep a fluid language and keep the brain active for your readers. So for the moment, I'm just going to Shrimpton. So there, just by the point about this is oops. So yeah, this is just in general, and I will have to do more reworking of these sentences. But the lesson is that you don't want to have the same structure of sentence over and over again. She does this, or even the one where you're doing this, the empty feeling edge of a. You don't want to do too many of those yet. You don't want to do too many of any sentence structure because it gets boring. If you were in a high school English class, they would say, I hope, vary your sentence structure. Vary your sentence structure and spell sentence correctly. There we go. This is something good to know. Boom. Okay. What you should know is that when things are spelled right, they are easier to understand. Okay. And now I'm going to take a second here to answer another question from Thumper. Is it worth overwriting the opening for Spec Crypt? Yes, it is. Absolutely. There are moments when you want to overwrite, when you want to over-describe and write a little hypey and really get people excited or interested. Yes, they often do, but you don't have to write that. You just write established shot. If you want to put it in, sure, that's fine. Don't over-direct the movie in the... Good. Thank you. Don't over-direct the movie in your writing. However, in the opening scene or in a set piece, which is a set piece is an important sequence where it's supposed to be hyper important to the style and genre, then you can overwrite sometimes. If you don't do it all the time, then when you do it, it's exciting. And that's a good thing. So yeah, there's nothing wrong with a little overwriting here and there. Sure. Why not? Okay, here's the thing. We have now, if you look here, we have taken this and we have put it on the far side of this. And now we are into a new sequence. And this is such a big sequence that I can tell you right now, we are not going to be writing any more script today. We are going to be doing notes because we are starting the second to last sequence of the pilot. Here's the deal. The rest of the pilot, is going to be two extended sequences. One is a little one-act play between Norman and Madeline as they are together. That's probably gonna, I don't know how, I have to figure this out, but that's gonna be about 10 minutes, about 10 pages of just dialogue bits between them. There'll be some breaks, there'll be some changes of venue, some ways to break up the scene, but I really want to have some time where they get to know each other. And at the end of that, Xena shows up. And then that begins the final sequence of the entire pilot. From there on, we're on a roller coaster straight going down the big hill. Because what happens is once Xena shows up, she discovers the secret that George has no evidence. And then the serial killer calls and they are on this conference call with the serial killer. And that is going to be the big final 10, 15 minutes of the script. So, yeah, it's fine. Once you have introduced a location the first time, you don't have to do it. I mean, you can do it. Establishing shots are lovely. The main thing is to just make clear where you are. Honestly, once your action starts going, you don't want to stop it for establishing shots, but you never know. You can do it. Okay, so now, Norman and Madeline getting to know you. All right, so okay. So let's look at what we have here. We're going to have to work out several beats. Okay, the first section is one of them, probably Norman. Goes to find her. I have the feeling that Norman is the one who wakes up. And Madeline's already awake. I think that if Norman woke up and Madeline was awake, I think he would either wake her or I don't know. I'm not sure. But one of them is going to wake up and find the other one. So, boom, boom. Yeah. Oh, look, I've already written this. Okay. Okay. So now they have to. Now they're going to spend some time getting to know each other, which is okay. It's somewhat awkward. What are the main things we have to get to? She has to get back to work. He doesn't. There's a question of was it okay, enjoyable for each? Okay, these are all things that are going to be talked about. So, okay, so basically there's some awkward small talk. Well, yes, it's possible. I just didn't see it that way. I sort of like the idea that the one of them has gotten up, gotten dressed, made coffee, kind of thing. Let's see. Actually, this is an interesting question. Who better to be awakening? In some ways, it's kind of cool if Madeline has slept well because she was the one who was so drugged and so stressed, and it might be that she's feeling rather happy now. Okay. So now, this is an interesting question. The question is, why don't they go home? Remember, neither one of them is actually like they're in a stranger's house. And she was very eager. She was eager to leave before. Why not now? And mainly, what are they thinking about each other and what happened? This is the big question. No matter what they say, I need to know what they're feeling underneath what they say. I think the important thing this is very important actually. So I'm going to just put it in here. Trying to figure out what that means for the future. So they are trying to figure out what that means. Okay, so subtext. Okay, yeah. The point, the underneath every scene, there is something driving the scene. What's driving this scene is that they like each other. That they do not want to part. They do not want to part. Yes, one will make the other one some form of breakfast. Absolutely. How are they behaving? How are they behaving and why? Sorry about this. I just need to take a second here to fix this because every time I hit the return, I was going to a new event line, which is not good. I wanted to go to a new line of the same style. Okay, so how are they behaving? That's actually an interesting idea. I'm going to write that in. All right. Okay, so we're going to have an awkward period, and then they need to get to this discussion of her past. And then we need to get to Norman's discussion of his past and present. Okay, so let's just look at this. They are going to establish something about each other. He is going to have to tell her about all his history of crappy relationships. I'm so glad it is. This is the step by step. This is it. Thank you. I am really glad that you find it, because I always worry this is the part where you guys get frustrated with me. But this is it. I'm just going through the scene and thinking about the number of things I need to cover in certain sections. I'm trying to figure out what the tension is. Is the tension that it seems to me like the tension is they don't want to leave, but she certainly ought to. Okay, if the tension is they don't want to leave each other, are they making up reasons, excuses to stick around? That's sort of interesting. They are both afraid they seduced, used the other, and so they are each trying to be respectful of the other's space. Okay, let's get all this down in there. So now what I'm just doing is I'm kind of brainstorming the things that, I can tell you, Matthew, the thing that you're doing, which I'm trying not to do, is to find external things to run the show. The point is to try and figure out the internal structure of the scene, and then you build the outside to fit it. Otherwise, you find yourself changing the characters. You find yourself changing the story, because the story is driven by the character's feelings. And if you, like now, if she finds something in his wallet and it's shameful or whatever, we've changed the dynamic of the scene. What I'm trying to focus on here is the inner central dynamic. What you always want to do is say, what is this scene about? What if I have to make this scene about one thing, and what I want this scene to be about is this. They do not want to part. They like each other. This scene is about. This is what it's about. Now what I need to do is work up from there. In other words, if all they could do, I mean, realistically, oh, look at that. We had another camera problem. This happens a bunch lately. I think it's my battery is dying. Let's see if I can get it back. Anyway, while I do this, I'll speak. Luckily, I'm just down here in the little corner. It doesn't matter that much. The most important thing for every scene and sequence is that you know what the point of it is, what the central driving dramatic impulse is that's driving these people. And the thing I want to have here is that despite all the awkwardness and difficulty, they want to be together. But the scene is awkward and their situation is strange. Okay, so this is the point. Okay. So this is the most important thing. So I'm putting it right up here. Okay. That is good. And now I'm just going to try and keep this, like, get the big picture. What do I need to accomplish in this scene? This is the biggest question, actually. What do I need to accomplish in this scene? This is the question you have to ask yourself over and over when you're writing any scene, okay? What I need to accomplish is they're trying to connect, to communicate. How does it end? This is the other big question. So how does this scene end? It's going to end with them being interrupted, but what is it? They get interrupted by Xena. What is getting interrupted? See, this is the process you got to go through. You got to go through the process of finding what you do know, what you have, what's important, and then asking questions to build out. For instance, I know that the end has to get interrupted by Xena. So what is getting interrupted? This is the deal. This is how we are working it. Okay. Are they leaving? Oh, look at that. I'm back. Are they leaving? Making plans to meet again? Are they thinking of staying to get to know each other? Okay. This is the stuff. This is the stuff. Okay. Boop-a-doo. When you get something that's really good, you put it here, you take it out of the notes, because the thing is, these notes, I never look back at them. I've got 96 pages of notes already. I have not looked back hardly at all at the 96 pages of notes we have written in our 84 or however many sessions we've done. So the question is this. When I find something that I like, that I don't want to forget, that the next time I go to this scene, when I come, if I put away, especially a lot of you guys, you don't get to work on these things every day. You are working when you can, how you can. So you want to know that when you go back to your outline, you've got all the good stuff there. That's the important thing. You want to be sure that if you get a good idea, you put it in the outline in a form that you can find it and say, oh, right, that's what I'm trying to figure out here. Okay, so that's good. Look at this. We've got the start of this. I know that we're going to have to get all this stuff in there. Some of it, actually, not all of it. Because part of what we're going to do here is we're setting up stuff that, because this is a series, you don't want to put all the information up front. You want to let it appear scene by scene over the course of different episodes, so that there's questions that you don't know the answer to, which makes you keep coming back. You don't want to have the entire story resolved in the pilot. That's not what a pilot does. A pilot sets up the questions. Okay. And with that, we've been going for 45 minutes, so I think that we are going to stop for now. Okay. Boop, boop, boop. Yes, except that's very external. And like I said, I'm trying to find the internal story, the things that they are trying to do. Are they since I know they are trying to stay together, the question is going to be, what action do they take to stay together when everything in their situation is pulling them apart? That's actually such a good statement. I'm going to go put it in there so I don't forget. They need to stay connected even though everything in this situation is trying to push them apart. There we go. See, you just keep thinking. Okay. All right. And with that, we take a break until tomorrow's session, when we will find out more about this sequence. And there we go. I hope you guys have a good evening. Go write something.